Hi everybody, thanks for being here in McMullen today. It's a pleasure to be here speaking. If you spent the summer in the Quad Cities, then you've probably been around for the Mississippi Valley Fair. And if you've been around during the fair, then you've probably seen a car or two pulled over out on Locust Street sometime during the week. And today I'd like to tell you about a time where I was one of those cars pulled over on Locust Street back in high school. And that time that I was pulled over, I wished that I had known a few more of my rights at the time, and that way I would be enabled to enforce my morals. And your morals may be different than mine, but I hope you're able to use this story as an example to teach your loved ones how to protect themselves. So, a little bit of background. My girlfriend, Elisa, and I had an open communication with our parents back in high school. And they always taught us to be responsible and respect underage drinking. So it was something that was going on and went well. We were always able to be responsible around each other and with our friends because of this. And this sense of respect and responsibility was nice, but it didn't keep us out of trouble with law enforcement. So it was Friday of Fair Week in 2013, a few years ago, and many high schoolers had been anticipating going to fair on a Friday all week because that's the time you can actually stay out and not have to worry about waking up for school in the morning. And I had been at my house playing League of Legends like some other high schoolers might have been doing back then, and a few hours had gone by. It was about 8 o'clock, and I decided it was probably a good time to go pick up Elisa to go to the fair. And I showed up at her house about 9 p.m., and I found that her and some of her girlfriends had been drinking or pre-gaming while they'd been getting ready, putting their makeup on, all that shenanigans. And finally we left at about 9:30. And it was just Elise and I in my car, rolled the windows down, played some loud music, having a good time. And she lives out on a rural road, so we were out on West Locust. And once we turned onto West Locust, there was, sure enough, a cop sitting on the side of the road looking for speeders. And in her slightly inebriated state, she decided it was a good idea to yell out the window, "That's a cop!" So, after that, drive about a mile down the road, and I see these lights behind me. So it was like a normal traffic stop, but I hadn't caused any traffic violation. The state trooper asked me for the usual license and registration. Then he doesn't question me about any vehicle infraction. He addresses Elisa actually and asks her why she had yelled at him. And after that, he asked her to step out of the vehicle, and we get questioned separately. She goes back to his squad car, and we both get questioned. I blurt out the truth because I think the truth was something. It is always something that will set you free, but in that instance, it could have been used a little differently. In telling the truth, I had incriminated her because I told him that she had been drinking underage, but we're also being responsible as a designated driver. He had both of us take a breathalyzer, so there was no problem with that. And she ended up getting an underage drinking ticket and a possession under the legal age, and sent us both on our way. And I got to drive home. The night was kind of ruined. She wasn't ready to go to the fair after that. So some important lessons that I had learned from that situation, and Elisa as well, that she probably shouldn't yell when she sees a law enforcement officer. The situation definitely could have been avoided if we both knew some of the following rights. Like the Legal Information Institute at Cornell University defines probable cause as a reasonable basis for believing that a crime may have been committed, and that was something that I think could have been argued or questioned on my part as to why we were even being pulled over in the first place. As a passenger, you can use your right to remain silent. You don't have to respond necessarily, in a respectful manner, of course. And as a passenger, stepping out of a vehicle is not always necessary or the safest thing to do. Overall, using your rights to protect yourself should be done in a respectful and cooperative manner. I think usually it's something where people believe you have to be negative towards the officer. And I understand underage drinking is illegal, and I don't advocate for it, but I also know that it happens. It's something that many high schoolers do, and it's not something that should be taken lightly, and people should be educated on how to be responsible in the situation. And it's important to know your rights to help strengthen your morals, and whichever your morals may be, make sure you know how to strengthen them with the law and for the law and not against it. Thank you.